welcome back to yet another first impression, and this is going to be a lot of fun because this is, I think, the brand new Halloween Man Mystery. And the reason why I think this is going to be a lot of fun and super interesting is because this is my absolute first fragrance from Halloween. For some reason, I'm not sure why, I stayed away from the brand for so long. I had so many in my comments recommend me to try them out. So yeah, I bought this. And is this the first Halloween fragrance you try?
I have tried the original like once or twice, but I'm not so familiar with it, so this feels like a completely new one for me.
So like always, we have prepared fragrance strip with the dry down. So what do you think? Do you like it?
It's a fresh, aromatic one. Nothing special in the opening. I mean, it's definitely not a bad fragrance, but it doesn't blow my mind.
Yeah, so the opening, something slightly spicy.
Yeah.
Something fresh.
Yeah.
I'm getting a slight hint of sweetness in the opening.
Something citrusy. I could guess like grapefruit.
Yeah, something like that. And I was just about to say that there's a slight hint of bitterness in combination with a bit of sweetness to that sort of a freshness. I think this is a nice opening, but it's also not something that I feel is crazy good or super unique or anything like that.
Yeah, and you want to know which one this kind of reminds me of?
No.
The original Acqua di Gio or Acqua di Gio or the parfum or parfum. And you know what that means.
That you don't like it?
I'm not in love.
Okay. And like a few minutes into the opening, I'm getting quite a big dose of something that is quite spicy. So it feels like the more it sort of heads into the mids, its spiciness is increasing in intensity. Yeah. And I think that if you don't enjoy sort of a spicy openings, probably stay away from this one, because at least right now I feel the opening is quite spicy together with that freshness.
The citrusy spiciness.
Yeah. So this is like citrusy, spicy, fresh. At least at this point in the opening, it feels quite intense on its sort of a spiciness. So yeah, at least where we are now, I feel sort of the same in that it's not a bad opening, but it's not something that is super impressive either.
So I think that the first part of the opening was very much like Acqua di Gio, the original, and the other parfum and the parfum. Okay. And that is not a good thing. But now when we are getting further into the opening, I think this is starting to turn into something that could have a place in the YSLY collection.
Interesting. Yeah, and the more it sort of heads into the mids, I'm getting quite a prominent dose of something fruity with a bit of sweetness. So to me, right now, it feels like it's fruity, a bit spicy, a slight hint of freshness to it, and I think, no, scratch that, I know that at least so far from what we experienced, this part is much more fun, exciting, and simply put nice. Yes. If I compare it to the initial part of the opening. The mids feels a lot more exciting.
It really does. Still, I am trying to find out what is the mystery part of this, because this feels like a very mass appealing, versatile kind of fragrance for men that I have smelled before. So I'm waiting for that mystery to turn in, because I want something more to make it more interesting.
So like a quick recap, it opens up sort of fresh. It's freshness, at least to my nose, and I believe you picked up a bit of that as well. It has a slight hint of sweetness to it, and it's also a bit bitter. That freshness is soon followed by a bit of spiciness. That spiciness is increasing in strength as this thing heads into the mids. The more it heads into the mids, the more I'm picking up on something that is fruity and slightly sweet. And that to me, at least where we are right now, is the most exciting part of it.
I don't think it's fruity, but I think it's citrusy fruity. And what I mean when I say that is that it has Probably, I haven't seen the notes, but I'm guessing there is grapefruit in it. And when you have grapefruit in it, you often get something that is a bit citrusy, but also fruity.
So please do try the dry down.
This reminds me even more about a Y fragrance. This is like Y Le Parfum or Y EDP. It's really close to my nose.
Yeah, maybe I'm picking up on something, maybe Y Le Parfum, something like that. That is, at least to me, a bit more fruity. But here's the thing as this thing heads into the dry down. This, its fruitiness, at least to my nose, has increased in strength. And that sort of a fruity, slight sweetness feels like it's resting on something that is slightly woody with a hint of something that is slightly smoky. Not super smoky, not super woody, but like a soft woodiness and a soft hint of something that is slightly smoky. So that's pretty much what I'm getting. And based on this first impression, the dry down is, this is tricky. I do think the dry down probably is slightly more exciting than the mids, even though I actually really enjoy the mids. The opening, not so much.
No, I would say the opening is bad, the mids is okay, and the dry down is really good.
So you mentioned that you were reminded of something from like YSL Y.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that I recognize this scent in one way because of its sort of a fruitiness. I was just about to say like Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male, but without that massive intense dose of pear. So
I'm
like
still wondering if we are smelling the same thing.
okay, so but I'm not sure what other fragrance this could be similar to. But I do feel I've got something in my collection that not necessarily is the exact same as this one, but where there is definitely some similarities to it. So here are my initial thoughts on the performance of this. So obviously this is just based on this first impression. I need to try and wear this more. But based on this first impression, I don't think this is something beast mode.
No.
We can't feel the entire room smelling of this.
No.
However, I do feel that this is at least above average. This is not a weak fragrance.
No, it's probably not.
So here are my initial thoughts on occasions and versatility. When can you use this fragrance? I think this fragrance can be used to pretty much any occasion.
Yes.
Wear it to work, wear it to school, wear it when you are going on a date. I do feel though that this is more of a casual, fun kind of scent than anything else. So definitely wear this when you are going on a date. When it comes to seasons, honestly, I don't think this is a too deep, too sweet scent that is going to become cloying when it's super warm.
No.
And I don't feel this is too light so that it doesn't sort of penetrate cold winter air. So I do feel you can use this pretty much throughout the year. What are your thoughts on like occasions, seasons?
Yeah, I could have said exactly what you said. I think this is very easy to use. I think you can wear it to dates, but for dates I would choose something that is a bit more interesting. Although this is not interesting. This is just not the kind of romantic, sexy kind of dating fragrance.
Okay, that's interesting because I was just about to ask you if you think this is like a future compliment getter. Would you compliment someone wearing this?
I don't know if I would, but since I think it's so close to Y Le Parfum and Y EDP, I know that guys are going to get a lot of compliments from this one because they do get a lot of compliments for Y EDP and Y Le Parfum. So yes, this will be a compliment getter. Maybe you're not going to get those compliments from me, but a lot of people are going to think that you smell good when wearing this.
And I agree, this is definitely a compliment getting kind of scent. Okay, the further this thing heads into, this is the part where we actually wrap things up. But I had to take a sniff of this, and the further this heads into the dry down, the bigger its sweetness, and the more I'm getting of that fruity sort of a kind of sweetness that it got. I feel the far dry down of this, if you end up trying this one out, please do wait until it really goes into the dry down, because that's where this becomes this really compliment getting, mass appealing kind of scent that I believe most people will enjoy. So here are sort of my final thoughts on this fragrance. Opening, nothing interesting really. The mids, something starts to happen there. Quite nice. It sort of piques my interest in the mids. The initial part of the dry down, nice, but nothing mind-blowing. The far sort of a dry down, that's where this thing shines. I like the dry down of it. Everything before that is sort of okay, but nothing mind-blowing. How would you sort of wrap up your thoughts on this from the beginning to the end?
This is really, to me, a fragrance that very well could be in the YSLY collection. So if you like the YSLY fragrances, if you like Sauvage, if you like that kind of fresh, spicy, aromatic ones, this is definitely something that you are going to like. And this is definitely something that people are going to appreciate when you wear.
So there you go, that's how we feel about Halloween Man Mystery. Now I would love to know if you have tried this fragrance and your thoughts on it. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please do drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you head on over to Sandra Solomon Fragrance.
Wait. Sandra Solomon
Fragrance. There you go,
Yeah.
there you heard it. Make sure you sub to her, sub to me, and I'll see you in the next one.